Hi, today I want to talk to you about something that I've been seeing a lot of lately. I joined a prayer group on Facebook, and it seems that there's a lot of people out there right now that are very discouraged, in depression, despondency, hopelessness, all of this stuff. And I totally believe it is an attack of the enemy to get us down and to pull our attention away from the Lord and get our focus off of Him. So today I want to talk to you about that because we need to be strong in the Lord and in the power of His might. We need to know that our hope is found in Him and our hope is found in the Word. So today I'm going to tell you a story. This is about King David, and he had returned back to Ziklag. And many of you have probably heard this story. He returned back with his men, with his army to Ziklag, and they found that the enemy, the Amalekites, had come in and they had taken all the possessions, their wives, their children. They had taken everything. So the people were greatly distressed. It says in 1 Samuel 30, starting verse 6, and David was greatly distressed, and the people spoke of stoning him. You know, this is pretty bad. Number one, you come back to your home, you find your wife is gone. In this case, David had two wives, he had his children. They're all gone, along with everybody else's wives and children and all their possessions. And it was just burned. There was nothing there. So you can't get much lower than that, you would think. However, now David's army is turning on him, and they're so distressed that they're talking about stoning David, like he had anything to do with it. Have you ever been in a situation where it seems that you are totally hopeless? There's nothing to look forward to. It's just everything that could go wrong seems to have gone wrong. Well, David was there. Now, what did David do about this? He grieved along with the people. And it means here, when the people were greatly distressed and they were grieved, that means they were bitter and they were in rebellion. That's what the word means, it grieved. So they're all bitter against David. They're in rebellion. But it says at the end of verse 6, and this is key, it says, "But David encouraged himself in the Lord his God." So, we get to a point in our life when we see things are not going well. They're not going the way that we think they should go. Seems like everything has gone awry. Everything seems hopeless. But we should encourage ourselves in the Lord our God. How do we do this? David, as you know, wrote many of the Psalms. And you'll find in many of the Psalms that David wrote, he starts out by saying, this is what's happening to me, and everything looked bleak and it looked bad. But so many Psalms say the words that David found his hope in the Word, and he found his hope in God. So when we're going through situations like that, we need to find our hope in the Word of God, what He says about us, what He says about our situation. We need to find our hope in that and focus again on God and not the problem. David, it says a little while in verse 8, it says, "And David inquired at the Lord, saying, Shall I pursue after this troop? Shall I go after the enemy? Shall I overtake them?" And God answered and said, "Pursue, for thou shalt surely overtake them, and without fail recover all." Later, when we go into the story, we find out that David does pursue, he does overtake them, and he does recover all. It says in 1 Samuel 30, 18 and 19, that David recovered all that the Amalekites had carried away, and David rescued his two wives, and there was nothing lacking to them, neither small nor great, neither son nor daughter, neither spoil nor anything that they had taken to them. David recovered all. So I just want to encourage you. I'll be talking about this a little more because there's so much to go into. But I want you to think about that today. If you're facing depression, discouragement, despondency, distress, hopelessness, if you're facing any of those things, today I want you to get into the Word of God, and I want you to get before God and hear what He says about your situation. Follow what He's telling you to do, and you will pursue, you will overtake, and you will recover all.